We are live. Welcome to Primetime, everybody. I'm your host, Hunter Chambliss, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Chad and Kerri. How's it going, guys?
Going great. Ready to talk some. Where is it? Buffy.
Right there. There it is. Yes, we are finally back doing Buffy after we had 3 episodes of games, which were so fun, but we have to get back to one of my favorite shows right now, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We are into season 4, the second half of season 4. If you guys missed it, we had part 1 a few weeks back. Go ahead and check that one out, and then we'll go ahead and finish this one. So how it works is we will rank each episode in a tier ranking from S to C, and then we will do a overall ranking of all 22 episodes at the end of this ranking. So we will start with Chad to nominate his first episode.
All right. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go. I don't know. Are we doing just one S tier?
Yes.
Okay. We're doing one S tier. I know which one it is for me. And it is the one Hunter just finished watching, Restless. The very end of the season. And I know Hunter had some qualms with it a little bit. But this episode for me is just like, I know it's one of those where it's not like necessarily like linked to the events of the rest of the season. It's almost like you could put it anywhere, but I still like its placement at the very end, because a lot of shows, what they do is they will have the penultimate episode in a season be the big thing that happens, and then the final episode, the finale, is like the aftermath of, you know, the events and stuff like that. This is a little bit different. It's more of like a dream episode, but it is to foreshadow kind of stuff that's going to happen with Buffy. Buffy doesn't really know who she is and what the Slayer is all about, and it's foreshadowing things about Slayer means death, and just all this stuff, and it's really great because I like how they give time to each of the main characters. They all have like their little dream sequences, and they're linked mainly with a cheese man, who will cheese. So there's great comedy in it. It has the this is the one that has the death of a salesman, right?
Yes.
Where he goes,
The play. Yeah.
I'm a salesman, men and their sales. It's just perfectly written. There is just such great dialogue, great jokes, and it does something that I haven't really seen too much before it in Buffy, and that's just like great like cinematography and just like filmmaking. And it's almost like, I want to see like the Buffy movie that Joss would have made, like that would have been like cinematography like that. Like if that would have been the 1992 Joss Whedon directed Buffy movie or something like that, you can see that what he could have done. Like, and if you think that Buffy's not like next level and it's like filmmaking and stuff, Restless is the one that I would point somebody to and go, just look at that. Like, look at what he did with like, moving the camera and kind of tricking you into, oh, you're not here, you're here now. And, all this stuff. And it also has the one with Spike on the swings, right? Yes. Is that so Restless?
Yeah. He says something like, Giles, it teaches me to be a watcher. He says I have potential.
He's just sitting there swinging. I love that so much. I think he's wearing a suit at the time as well.
So is Giles, and Giles goes, Spike's like a son to me.
Yeah. Buffy has some of the best comedy. And I also love, like, isn't Anya trying to steer the ice cream truck like with her emphatic gestures?
Yeah, and then like in the back of the ice cream truck, you have Tara and Willow in the back.
You just gotta come in with it. You just gotta come in with it and smile. She's doing a bit.
Are you done talking?
Yeah.
Okay. I wear the cheese. The cheese does not wear me.
Great performance.
I was very interested to see if Chad would also have this.
You didn't bring me any cheese?
If Chad would also have this as his S tier, it's my S tier one as well for this half of the season. Yeah, it's a really bold episode, especially to end on, and I think I don't know, it's just one of the most unique episodes I think in television. It's like so divorced from the standard Buffy format. And there's really no other episode like this, I would say, in Buffy or in most shows, except if you go for something like the Twin Peaks, where there are quite a few episodes like this. You know, most shows don't have an episode that's quite as crazy as this. And it has so many freaking hilarious moments. I love when we're introduced to the first Slayer, and we kind of get a hint of where Buffy's power comes from and a little bit of a history of the Slayers. It's something I think overall in the series, I think they do get back into that a little bit, but I think overall in the series, it would have been a cool thing to see more of. And I like that this episode touches on it. And there's some fun foreshadowing in this episode for season 5 that I think you only get on subsequent rewatches. But overall, when I watch this season, especially in this later half, which is so heavy into, we get less of the fun episodes in this later half. We get so many heavy episodes about Riley and the Initiative and Adam. This episode is kind of like the episode I look forward to the most when I'm into this half of the season.
And I don't think I liked it as much when I was a kid, because it was like, I mean, I laughed at it and stuff, but I didn't like get like the brilliance of it really. But this also is a very like kind of scary episode because people like die like really gruesomely.
Giles' death is fucking weird. He just gets cut in the forehead.
Yeah, and you see the blood coming down. Oh, it's so creepy. And then also the this is the one with the Xander Apocalypse Now thing, right?
Yes, where it's Snyder doing Marlon Brando's part.
Yeah, and it's you know what? Twin Peaks was a really, really great like a comparison.
Yeah.
Because I love the part like when Xander's seduced by Joyce, and then he goes up and he's in the bathroom and all the scientists are like in the bathroom with him, like what?
Such a great payoff to that whole Joyce and Xander thing, because like they go back and he's like, yes, Buffy's mom, of course, Buffy's mom.
Aren't we getting like sort of like kind of like a domestic kind of thing with Xander and his dad in the episode a little bit too?
A little bit,
yeah.
And I don't know. I think especially because, most TV shows, and even I would say, I think every other Buffy finale, spoiler alert, but every other Buffy finale, you're ending on a big battle. And I think just to end on this type of episode is just incredibly bold. And I like looking back, it's kind of shocking that Joss Whedon was able to, like the whole Buffy team was able to do that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting from a like in story perspective where they're focusing on, this magic spell that they use to help defeat Adam. It still has consequences in this world.
Yes,
it's not just like,
that's right.
Yeah,
you cast this spell and like everything's resolved and everything's okay. I think this is a good way of like the show kind of is constantly reminding us like there are consequences to all of these actions. Like nothing's ever easy.
Love that point. And I would say, like Kerri said, this is one of the most unique episodes. Yes. And I think it's like one of like the 3 big episodes that are like I said, from like a filmmaking perspective, you go, that was so impressive. This and Hush were both one of those, and so I would say right, because it's a little like it's like gimmicky and stuff, and the one in the 6th season, it's I can't wait until we get there because it's something, and I'm excited for you to see it, but also kind of
It's maybe my favorite episode.
Okay, let me ask.
No spoilers. I like it.
There is
2
another
more
one.
episodes.
Chad reminded me that there's one in season 5 that's actually like this. Not like this, but like the filmmaking aspect they took with it is really unique.
Yeah, and sorry to go on so long, but we love that episode. There's a reason why it's our S tier. So
that's awesome. To me, and the only problem I have with this episode is, as I said, it's kind of weird to have this episode as the finale, not the one previous, because that's where they defeat Adam. That's where they, have the close off of all the storylines and things like that with the initiative. It is kind of weird to have this one kind of tagged on at the end. Like, this would have been a great, like, maybe first half episode. Like, maybe that and Hush back to back would have been a great 2-piece, I feel like. But
Kerri
overall,
also,
like...
Kerri, I'm sorry to interrupt. Kerri also made that point that it's like the after effects of what they did, right?
Yeah.
Is that Restless? Yeah. And so it's I could see your point about maybe if they didn't end it, they could have had this be the first episode of season 5, like After Effects.
Well, I could see they could have done an episode like this, right? Like not quite the same. It wouldn't have been the consequence of the spell, and it could have been like, they took some magic sleeping potion or something. Or like,
Yeah, but I like how they like end it with the after effects of what just happened, but then foreshadowing what is to come.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, Hunter.
Oh, no, it's cool. But again, I can't really argue that this isn't a very great episode because, as you guys pointed out, the cinematography is fantastic, especially recreating that scene from Apocalypse Now with the lighting, the effects, and like how great and cinematic that was, and like the whole
and it's Snyder.
Salesman.
It's
Snyder, yeah. It's so good.
Harris.
And just the comedy works so well. I think this is the episode where, as you guys said, you could show someone an episode of Buffy and be like, this is what you're getting into. And you could be like, this is a really good like standalone episode of just like not really big spoilers. You can just show someone this episode and be like, this gets you right into what Buffy's going to be like.
I agree. And I was telling you the first episode of Buffy I ever saw was a season 7 episode. Because I came into it a little late. And Him was the episode.
That's right.
And that's another episode. It's like a Monster of the Week type of thing. That where they still do like relationship type of stuff like they do in Restless and like focus on the characters, but it's not, it doesn't give away much of what has happened. So
all right, so let's move on to Kerri for her first selection.
Okay, so I'll go with the first episode in this.
Of course you would.
A New Man. This is the episode where Giles turns into a demon because Ethan poisons his drink.
Fucking Ethan.
I know.
A Fieral demon.
For me, this is an an A tier episode, because I think it hits all of the great points of Buffy, and it's always nice to have a Giles-centric episode. I think those are always great. I love that it deals with like how Giles is kind of adjusting to his new life, like not being a librarian. He's kind of trying to figure out where he still fits within the gang, if he still does. It hits all of the comedy notes of Buffy, like just all the scenarios between Spike and Giles, kind of like trying to like get turned back into a human and communicate with everyone. Those are always really funny. I love his moments with Buffy in this episode. Like Buffy recognizes it's Giles through his eyes.
Yes.
Like it's such a sweet moment.
So good.
So yeah, for me, this one is A tier.
Chad?
Okay. Yeah, I adore this episode as well because it's fun. It's a Giles and Spike episode. Ethan comes back, which is really cool to see, because they have like such a dynamic. And don't they have like a thing where you think they might be like, actually like not being enemies, and then Ethan poisons them with the beer or whatever.
Like they're having a good night out.
Right, and then and then he turns into demon, and it's just some really, really fun stuff. I I just love how he runs into Spike and is like, "You can understand me." It's like, "Yeah, I speak PRO."
Spike
Yeah.
is the only one who understands him.
Yeah, he speaks the language. He's like, I learned it. Like, didn't he say like Fiero's owed money or something? He's always saying stuff like that. Like,
Of course.
like in my past, I ran into something and they owe me money. There's in fact, the first season of episode 5, there's a thing. There's a creature where Spike says they owe him money. You know what I'm talking about. Season 5. Okay. Anyways, yeah, this episode's great, and Kerri actually just kind of hit on all the points that I would have brought up. I think the comedy's great, and I love the bits with Giles and Buffy at the end, where because their relationship is so special, and it goes through a lot of stuff. And I'm excited to get to future stuff with them because they have a great relationship. So, A tier, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I will say Buffy has some issues with alcohol because in the last 2 episodes that involve beer or alcohol, it turns people into like creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm trying to think if this is like the last time we'll see that.
I think so.
As far as I can remember.
I don't know if there's much. Well, I mean, there's like alcohol stuff, like messages and stuff later on.
Oh, yes.
But it's not like
it turns you into a creature.
You're gonna get turned into something. It's more like addiction.
Addiction, and it's not played for comedy. It's dramatic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
It gets dark.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The show gets very dark. Yeah.
All right, yes, I definitely agree. It's an A tier episode. It's super fun. I think Giles might be one of my favorite characters, like in the show, like behind Spike, and seeing them together is always a treat because they have great chemistry back and forth. Just like the banter that they have, Spike will say something and then Giles will come right back with a remark, and you're just like, that's why I love that dynamic with you two.
Yeah.
Because it's also like they kind of respect each other in a way. It's like I hate you, like all of you, but Giles I can kind of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Spike has a lot of really fun relationship with different people. Like his like relationship with Willow.
Yeah.
He's got a kind of relationship with her. They like a couple times.
He's got a good relationship with
Joyce.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things in the world is him and Joyce. Yeah. And then his.
I don't know why, but in one of the episodes in this season, I find it so funny that Spike tries to eat Willow, and Willow is trying to give him relationship advice on Drew.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, how did that happen? But I kind of enjoy it.
I love it so much.
It's
yeah.
so good.
There's another character later that Spike develops a relationship with. You know,
more Spike is always welcome.
Oh no, we're not. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. See, we're not on the same page.
We're never on the same page tonight. Yeah.
All right, so we'll move on to my episode.
Was that an A tier for you? That episode?
Oh yes, A tier. All right, I'm going with one that is actually my S tier, but I'll put in high A tier. New Moon Rising, episode 19.
I figured so because I know you like the Oz stuff. So.
Oz is a great character, but also this is the episode where you finally realize that Willow and Tara have a thing going on, and they actually explore that relationship more. And that ending, man, where where Tara goes, "You deserve to be with someone you love," and she goes, "I am." Oh man, it hits all the right beats.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that Oz gets cured, but only when he's not angry or emotional, and that's why he leaves Willow. Makes so much sense now why he's leaving, because he doesn't want to put Willow in danger, and he sees that she has something going on with Tara. He's happy for, but also kind of heartbroken at the same time. And Oz, I think Seth Green puts a really great performance in this episode, particularly because he has to balance so many emotions that Oz hasn't really shown a lot. Oz is kind of the calm, cool guy, and he gets angry, he gets sad, depressed, so many different emotions in one episode. And then it's add on top of that, it's the initiative having found out that Oz is a werewolf, and you have that all ties into it. And then you have, the stuff with Riley and Buffy where Riley only sees things as black and white, but Buffy, having gone through the stuff with Angel, knows that that's not how things work. Like, people have that weird shade of gray where, like, Angel's a vampire, but he's a good vampire. He tries not to eat people. He tries not to hurt people. So that dynamic is kind of shown with the Oz situation, where Oz can't help what he is, but deep down, he's still a good dude. So that balancing. So there we go. This is one of my favorite episodes of the season. So, yeah, high A tier for me.
Definitely. Me?
Yeah.
This one is really actually heartbreaking because, I love Oz and Willow, but then I love Tara and Willow so much as well. And, I love to see Willow happy. I love to see all three characters happy. And it just sucks because someone's getting their heart broken in that whole thing. And to see like Willow find herself, find out like her, I don't know, explore her like bisexuality, and find Tara, and it's someone who shares an interest that she does, and they love to do like spells together and stuff like that. It's really sweet, and I love that. But then you have Oz come back, and he's like cured, like he's like good, he can control it, except for when he gets really, really, really angry or stressed or frustrated or pissed off, whatever. And this is the thing that does it, because he just gets like he feels kind of betrayed and kind of like, what? Like, this makes no sense. Like, how I wasn't even gone that long, or kind of a deal. And then but you also like you understand kind of both sides there, I feel like, or at least I do. And then you just want everybody to be happy, but at the end of the day, even though Oz gets mad, he ends up understanding, and he just says, really, I just want you to be happy. And he chooses to leave and let them both be happy. And it's so true for Oz's character, because he's just like one of the best people on the show. And so even though he's one of the best people, like a Paddington almost, it's like he still gets angry. It's a really great episode. So I can see why you love it. A tier, yeah, for sure.
Kerri?
Yeah, I agree. This is high A tier. This is a fantastic episode. I think it brings Oz's arc to a really nice close, and we didn't really get that closure from the prior episodes in the season. Like, he kind of just leaves, and we're all heartbroken with Willow. And I think this, even though we're heartbroken with Oz in this episode, I don't know, it's almost like there's more of a peace there, because Oz is like leaving more a little bit on his own terms. And we think there's like hope for him. And then Willow's kind of found someone else in her life. So I like how this plays into Riley's arc as well. Like, Riley kind of, through knowing Oz, realizes that it is, like you said, Hunter, things aren't just black and white. It's not just monsters and humans. There's like areas of gray there.
Yeah, especially at the end, where he chooses to pretty much be a traitor to the initiative to save Oz and the team, and he just knocks out that one guy and just runs.
Yeah.
It was like a fist pump moment right there. You're like, yes!
Yeah. It's a lesson that Dean Winchester just refused to learn for a very long time. Anyways, is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'm going to go with another one that probably would have been S tier if Restless didn't exist, and it's Superstar for me. I love Jonathan as a character. He has such an interesting arc. He's the guy that like goes unnoticed for a while. He always shows up. He's the one that gives Buffy her award, one of the greatest moments ever. He's the one that does the controversial episode with the gun. He's that guy. And then he shows up again in this one, kind of out of nowhere. And not only that, but everything is different all of a sudden. And they don't explain it until much, much later, and you don't know what's going on. And it's amazing. I love stuff like that. I love when shows do like little things that are just different, and it's kind of a break from the norm. And other shows I feel like have done this, but after Buffy. I don't know if I know of a show that did something like this before Buffy, where it's like the credits are different, and suddenly Jonathan is like the star of this show, and he's doing all these cool things, crazy things, and he's like a secret agent, like action hero type of guy. And and then the episode goes on like this is just the normal world, and Jonathan is just like this debonair rich playboy. I think he was like a basketball star at one point.
He created the internet.
He created the internet.
Such a funny joke.
Yeah.
He's I don't know. He's like at one point he just starts playing this like instrument. Does he play like the saxophone or something?
Yeah.
And he's just like really amazing. And then you start to see after effects. Like there's a whole. It's kind of like the whole Restless syndrome, where it's like he did this spell, which created a monster, and they all find out, and then they go like, Jonathan, you're kind of like pathetic that you would like do this spell to make people like you, or to experience that life where but you're messing with people's like minds and stuff like that, and that's not a good thing. And so he learns from it. But yeah, it's a very fun episode. I can't remember how much like of like a overarching story thing that it does. If anything, it's kind of just a monster of the week for the most part.
Yeah, it's like Restless, where it doesn't really tie into anything.
But again, it's a great monster of the week. It's very fun. It has a lot of really fun stuff in it, like the internet thing, like you said, and it brings back a character that you go, oh yeah, Jonathan, and what is he doing this time? And it's just really fun. And yeah, you haven't seen the last of Jonathan, and I love him. He's so great. And
James Bond Jonathan.
And Danny Strong is like, really big time like show producer now and stuff, show creator. So it's
that's cool.
Really cool. So A tier.
Okay,
Kerri?
yeah. I also say A tier to this one. I think this is a really fantastic episode, and it's probably one of the, besides Restless, this and Restless are the two I would say lightest. And I guess a New Man, but those are the latest episodes I think we get this half of the season. So it's a nice little like welcome break from kind of doing so much drama. And yeah, it's just a fun episode. It's a fun concept. It's something like, it's fun to see these Buffy episodes where they just like take a concept and run with it, and they're able to do that because this world has things like magic and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Supernatural does a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they go way further. But I'm like, you don't get any of that shit in Supernatural without Buffy, I don't think, because it's like it took so much from it, but in a great way. Oh, but I think also you probably didn't have that stuff in Buffy without X-Files, because X-Files did a lot of great stuff like that too. So I'm not trying to say Buffy necessarily changed the game, but also did in some other ways.
I think it progressed things, because X-Files, you do get some of these like little discrete episodes, but I don't think you get them as often as you do in Buffy, or as like kind of like all in as you do in Buffy.
We gotta do our X-Files rankings.
I gotta watch X-Files.
Huh?
I said, I've never watched X-Files.
It's great. There's a lot, though. There's a lot. It's not as much as Supernatural. But.
It's not as much as Supernatural, but it's definitely like there's some beautiful and fantastic episodes and some just iconic episodes. And then there are just episodes, and especially the last two seasons, you gotta like slog.
Well, that's fine. We'll do a D tier.
Yeah, we could do D tier for sure. And most of those Ds will be in the last two seasons.
Oh.
It actually makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like talking about like how like Buffy influenced a lot of stuff, it's kind of like Smallville effect. I think Smallville, when it came out,
Great
there
show.
wasn't really superhero shows at that
No.
time.
Well,
Like
there's like
on
Lois and Clark and
yeah,
stuff, but
Lois and
not at the
Clark, but
same
like
level.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
big scale type show. And now that's pretty much the Arrowverse. That's Flash. That's Arrow. That stuff that
Yeah.
kind of took influences from Smallville. I think a lot of shows that like Supernatural or like The Order or these kind of shows that mix real life with like mystical creatures or like something like that took some influences from Buffy, but they've added their own twist to it, which is great because it shows that like a show can
Absolutely.
have a legacy throughout the years, and that's not just like a stuck in the 90s or the 2000s of like it was a good show, but yeah, it's over or whatever. Like it kind of has a following, like moving forward.
Absolutely. And speaking of Smallville, though, it's funny because like I remember before like Henry Cavill became Superman, they were always like Tom Welling needs to be Superman in like the movies. And then now that Henry Cavill's not anymore, let's bring back Tom Welling from
Let's do it.
Smallville. Let's do it.
Technically speaking, it could make sense because he is now in the DCEU because of the multiverse.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So just bring him right in. Boom. All right, we're on to Kerri with her next selection.
Okay, I'll go with the Iron Team.
Of course.
Okay, this is the episode where I think Adam is revealed. Although Hunter, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong.
At the very
there.
end of this one?
No,
Very
No,
end,
I
I
don't
believe.
in the middle. No, he kills Walsh at the end of this one.
No.
So maybe he's revealed in an episode
Yes.
prior.
Yes, it's, the next one.
What?
The next one, I think, is the one.
No, he definitely kills Walsh at the end of this episode.
Okay, he does. You're right.
I just can't remember if he's revealed.
It's kind
in the
of like
same episode or not.
Yeah, it's kind of like this one. Like, kind of ends its main story, and then the last scene is that.
Yeah.
And then the next one's the aftermath.
Yeah, but this is also the episode where Professor Walsh tries to kill Buffy because Buffy's asking too many questions.
The evil bitch monster from hell, right? Yeah.
Of death or
Of
something.
death.
Yeah.
I think it's from hell.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. It might
You're
be
probably right.
Either way, you're both correct.
Yes.
So for me, I would say this one I think is like a high B for me. Although I could definitely, if you guys put it in A tier, I wouldn't be mad. Because we do get a lot in here, and we actually are either introduced to, or we find out that Adam's probably going to be our main villain. Like, he's like kind of the big reveal, and then him killing Walsh kind of shows us that he's probably not a good dude. He's probably going to be a big problem. And we do get, Buffy finally like firmly opposed to the initiative. They've kind of been riding that line. Will Buffy be able to cooperate with them? It's like very different from her normal style. So I think there is a lot of good stuff in here, but I think overall, compared to the rest of the episodes in the season, just kind of a little bit of a B tier for me. I think in general, I just am not in love with the entire initiative storyline. So a lot of the episodes that focus so heavily on that are more B tier for me.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah. The Iron Team, I like it. With the initiative, I think the initiative's interesting because it's kind of like that Daredevil Punisher type of situation where the Punisher's like so hard lines, like, it's black and white for him, and boom. And Daredevil's like, no. Let's have a talk here. You can't just, go do everything you want to do and, whatever. And here, the initiative is that black and white hard line, like a demon's a demon, monster's a monster, kill it, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or lock it up in a cell and study it. But Buffy's more of the, not necessarily. Some monsters have I've loved a monster before. Some monsters are good and want to do good, and they're not monsters, actually. They're just different. Cursed, yeah. And, so I find it interesting, but I also understand why there's a lot of people who don't like that storyline. It's one that I haven't, because there's the resolution of the storyline I really like. So, I don't know. I've always been kind of fine with the initiative and Adam and all that stuff. I think this episode is really cool in a way because I just like when people underestimate Buffy and she shows them who she is. And this episode really does that for me because like Walsh is like, let's get rid of her. And you're like, oh no, Buffy's in trouble. And then like she finds out, she solves it, and then she like looks in the camera and she's like, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
Kind of a deal.
Such a perfect timing too, because like it's like Riley is like the camera's like shot on Riley, like from his perspective, and then like Walsh is here, and then if you look behind Walsh, you just see Buffy like looking at the camera. It's not like a full framery thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, like you fucked up now, and now Riley knows.
Exactly, and that's how Riley finds out that Walsh was doing all the shit behind his back, and then he's kind of afraid now, where he's like, all this stuff that I kind of trusted, like my whole life was this initiative shit, and now is it like the right thing to do? So I don't know. There's a lot of questions, and then I do like the reveal of Adam because it's really cool. It's like, oh shit, Walsh is up to something. This is crazy. So I would put this in maybe like a low A tier, but I'd be okay with it being B. I don't know. How do you feel, Hunter?
So the Iron Team is an episode that I remember bits and pieces of, but not the full episode. If that makes any sense. I remember it being an okay episode. I'm mixed on the initiative aspect. Like, I don't think it's, bad. I don't think it's good. I just think it's just there. And they do an interesting job with it, but they don't go to links where I care about the initiative. Like, I don't see the opposite side of, like, why are they good and why are they bad? They don't dive that deep into it. Like, I know they're good because they fight demons, but as Buffy said, everything's not black and white. So I would like more of the idea of, like, what is the initiative's plan? What do they plan to do with these, demons that they have, in the cages? And are they torturing them, or are they, killing them and then they're, studying them? I want more about them, and I didn't get it. So I don't really care about that storyline. It's just there for Riley and Buffy, which is okay because it's a vehicle for their relationship. But it's not one that will, persuade me either way to be like, I hate this episode or I love this episode. Yeah. I'd probably put it in like a high B tier.
Okay.
It's just right down the middle.
I think though, like, because I think you're right. I don't think they come out and explain anything. You kind of got to get everything from context clues. Like when you actually get all the fighting in the actual initiative and you see all of the scientists and stuff doing stuff, and then that they put like a chip and Spike, I think you can kind of like gather what they're doing a little bit, and what their stance is, but that's really all you get. So you're right that they don't dive into it too deeply, and then it just kind of ends with that storyline. But it is what it is. You either like it or you don't, and I'm fine with B tier for this one.
All right, is it on to me or is it?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with my least favorite episode of the season, and that will be. Let me see if I can find it. Where the Wild Things Are.
Okay.
That's episode 18.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
It's the sexiest bad episode.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about this episode. I don't hate it. I don't hate a lot of episodes of Buffy. I've noticed. It's just one that like doesn't feel like the characters have been acting. Like Buffy not caring about Willow and her friends being put in danger, and just kind of being focused only on the relationship of Buffy and Riley, which is okay at points, but it's just like you don't want to focus too much on the heavy like relationship drama, because then I kind of tune out because I'm like, yeah, that's more CW things that I don't want to get back into. I just feel like it's not bad. There are really cool moments, but just characters not acting like characters is one of my big issues. Like in season 1 with Xander in the pack. Mm-hmm. Like that rubbed me the wrong way because that's not who Xander is. And I understand he was under a spell, but still, I don't like seeing characters I like being put in that situation. You know what I mean? It just kind of rubs me the wrong way.
Oh man,
So I'll put this in C.
there's a lot more of shit like that coming though.
I
so.
know.
And that's the kind of thing with these episodes that are like magical and stuff, or like there's like a possession like this one with ghosts and stuff like that, is that people might kind of be possessed or under some sort of influence that's making them act differently. Like the whole them being like trapped in a bed to just have sex over and over all the time. Yeah, I can kind of see this one being interesting, but then also like maybe one that you could just skip over because not a lot happens in it. It's kind of just a monster of the week. And if you're really into ghost stuff, maybe you might like it. If you like the storyline of because this is the orphanage where the woman was making kids do terrible things, and I'm sure stuff like that exists in real life. And I'm sure that's kind of like what he was trying to do with, or they were trying to do with, some sort of like statement about, I don't know, treating kids wrong is bad, or, stuff like that. But yeah, it's, I like it in some ways because it's a ghost episode, because it has, interesting stuff. The part where the girl's like ripping out her hair and stuff, that always creeps me the hell out. And I'm just like, oh, she's not recovering from that. That's traumatic right there. Because like the woman like made girls like be like sick of like their, focusing on their vanity and stuff. And there's just a lot of like themes like that. And like, yeah, like, I don't know. It's a fun episode if you like ghosts and ghost stuff like that, if you're really into that. And if not, I can see someone ranking this really low. I'd be okay with a B tier, but if you wanted to throw it in C tier, I think this might be the best one to be for C tier. I'm not sure. Let's see what Kerri says. I'll say B tier for now.
Okay. I'll say C tier.
Okay.
Like, this one actually, I do actually enjoy for the ghost stuff because I am really into that, and I always thought, like growing up, to me, this was the scariest episode of Buffy, which is something I think is really cool. But I think overall, especially like watching it as an adult, like the overall storyline of like, oh, this is happening because like Buffy and Riley are like feeding into this energy of the house, and like it gets really weird. And it is, I'll say this is generally thought of by Buffy fans as the worst episode of Buffy.
Some Buffy fans.
Wow.
I will say there's a poll in that Buffy group, and it was by far the leader of that poll.
I've been in Buffy groups that I have agreed with no one.
I know.
So I'm a different kind of fan, I guess, because I do not agree with most of I don't want to air quote Buffy fans because I don't want to gatekeep like that, but I disagree with a lot of stuff.
I do think for like this half of the season, this is the episode that belongs in C tier.
I do agree that this is not one of the best episodes, and I'm not sitting here trying to defend this one in particular, but people try to drag down just season 4 in general. And I'm not here for that because I like a lot of
season 4 is not bad. It's actually a pretty decent season.
Yeah, and I wanted to throw out because you made a whole point about it not dipping into CW, which is just really funny because Buffy was never CW, but it was WB and UPN, which merged to become the CW.
CW, yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were some moments with like the Riley and Buffy situation that reminded me so much of Riverdale. Like the music cues and everything. I was just like, I don't need this right now.
That's another thing with this episode. I think the romantic scenes or the intimate scenes between Buffy and Riley just are not filmed well at all, and like very weird, and like
I could see that. I don't really focus on those parts or really care about those parts that
but
much,
like you pointed out, Hunter, and I do agree with you that that's like it's a little weird.
I can understand that for sure. I think the ghost stuff is the most interesting part.
Yes,
it is.
I really like that, and you can fast forward
like
Buffy Riley
the part where everybody's touching the wall, and they're like, "Come touch this wall." right?
What was that supposed to be?
In the bathtub. That's so.
It's like I guess the energy of the house, and it's like I don't know, causing them orgasms or something.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, just random wall orgasms, and that's weird to me, man.
Yeah, it is weird. Buffy's weird.
It is. All right, so we move back over to Chad for his next pick.
Oh, I wasn't ready for this, but let's see. Oh yeah, I know one. I'm gonna go with another A tier. I'm gonna go with this year's girl. Well, this one's a two-parter actually, so I can't remember which one I like more actually. But let me. Now let me go. Who are you? I'll go with who are you instead. I feel like because that's kind of like, it's a two-parter where Faith wakes up and then she
so
switches
good to see
bodies
her,
with Buffy.
See her come back though.
And I think the who are you is the more interesting part after they've already been switched. Mm-hmm. And they have the whole church stuff. I don't know. I like the whole dynamic of these two episodes, where Faith is gone to the dark side. Basically, she wakes up. She's still bad. She's a very complicated character. She hasn't always been bad, but then she just kind of went there. The influence of the mayor. The mayor kind of indoctrinated her into whatever all this crazy shit she wants to do is okay. So she's really deep into there. She woke up, she knows the mayor's dead, and she's still in that same mindset that she was. Even though we've progressed in the story, she's woken up and she's the same as she was. And so she comes out, she switches bodies with Buffy, and that gets very interesting because Buffy is like pretty much the complete opposite of her. And so it's fun to see her like, which is the episode it is this year's girl when she's like looking in the mirror and going like, I'm Buffy.
No, that's who are you, because they're already switched at that point.
Yeah, okay. So she's looking into the mirror and she's like, I'm Buffy. I can't do that because it's wrong. And I just love to see the acting stuff with it. This is another one you could say that like they're not acting like themselves because they switch bodies. And Sarah Michelle Gellar has to like act like Faith in Buffy's body, which is not new. We've seen that before. We've seen it after, but I love how they pull it off. The church scene is really good. I don't remember a ton of stuff about it, to be honest, but I really like it, and I think it's an A tier. So who are you is the one. And if you guys talk about it, I could probably remember some more stuff from it. But I just remember really liking it.
All right, Kerri, you want to go next?
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, I guess it was an episode 3. Yeah. Okay, it's episode. Okay, season 3. Okay, but so you wound up doing Who Are You, right?
Who are you?
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, this is definitely A tier for me. I think this is a fantastic episode. I think Elijah Dushku and Sarah Michelle Gellar do a fantastic job acting as each other.
Yes.
There are some moments that are hilarious, but I think there are also some moments that are just like so deep. Like there's this scene where Faith as Buffy sleeps with Riley, and then she kind of like freaks out and is trying to be kind of protective of Buffy. And I love these episodes. I love Faith and Buffy like together. I think this is like just a really interesting take on it. And yeah, I don't have a ton else to say that you didn't already say, Chad, but for me, this is definitely A tier.
Yeah, because Faith is just like, such a complex character. Mm-hmm. And you're right, when she has those moments of, goodness, and you can see, like, she's not 100% bad. Faith is just, she's just been swayed wrong.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I love about this episode. Yeah, it's also A tier for me, is when you see that, like, especially in the church scene where, she Faith doesn't have to go to the church to help people because she doesn't care. But you see the moment of like she's about to hop on the train or the bus, and she sees what's happening, and I guess the instinct of a slayer kicks in. She's like, "Fuck! Like I don't want to do this, but I have to do this. It's a moral thing of like." I signed up to be a slayer, and yes, I've lost my way, but that's still my job. I'm still alive. I'm still wanting to protect people, but it's like, again, as Chad brought up before, it's the Punisher, the Daredevil situation with Buffy and Faith. Faith just takes it one step too far. She enjoys the beatdowns, the fighting, the slaying, but there's also a hint of her that likes it because she's helping people, and you see that especially when she gets to the church and she tells Riley, "No, I gotta do this on my own. Stay back. I don't want you to get hurt." And you can tell it's like kind of that protectiveness of, somebody that she knows Buffy is attached to and is seeing, but it's kind of like she wants to protect him to protect Buffy in a way. And they're like kind of, connection is what's really cool about this episode is that you see little hints of like, Faith is not that bad of a character. She just got influenced in the wrong way.
Yeah. Do you know what happens to Faith at the end of that episode? Did they say what she was gonna do next?
I think she said. There we go. I think she said she has to get away from Sunnydale.
Okay. I think she just escapes. I don't think she says she's going somewhere.
Because in this thing it says she's going to a specific place, and I didn't know if you knew. So, because foreshadowing for later things to come. So, but I don't want to spoil it. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Kerri with her next episode.
Oh God. Okay. I'll go with Goodbye Iowa.
What?
I have a pattern. Okay.
I love it. It's fun.
In this one, Riley's real messed up because Professor Walsh has died, and he's like trying to leave the initiative, and apparently they've been drugging him the whole time. And Adam, I think, escapes, and like Buffy discovers him. I'll say this is definitely like a B tier episode for me. Almost could, if like Where the Wild Things Are wasn't here, probably would have been my C tier, just because I think even though we actually get a lot of the main story here, we get a lot of Adam. To me, it's just not that interesting. It's pretty slow paced. We get a very interesting scene between Willow and Tara where they're doing a spell, and Tara actually like sabotages the spell. She doesn't want to do it. That's a thread that will continue, and it doesn't really pay off for a couple of seasons. But it's really cool. Like rewatching this, you see like, wow, they set up that thing like way earlier.
That.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm sorry, who?
Tara.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. I didn't know she.
Yeah.
Like,
So
purposely...
they're supposed to each blow the powder, and Tara kind of like pockets it or throws it on the floor.
Oh,
and spell doesn't work.
Yeah.
I guess I was looking somewhere else when that happened. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, so we kind of get a hint that maybe Tara is a lot more wary of magic than Willow is, potentially.
She might respect it a little more.
Yeah, or just not be as comfortable doing more complex spells.
Yeah. There's things to come, man. You'll see.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you.
It's really cool that because I had never realized, I think until we had done several rewatches, that was something that they had initiated like way back in the 4th season.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is so cool. I love when you find out little foreshadowing things, because there's a foreshadowing thing that happens in one of these episodes about the beginning of season 5. It's this year's girl.
And Restless,
with the making of the bed, right?
That's in Restless, but there's another little foreshadow in this year's girl. There's actually another foreshadow for season 5 at the end of season 3 that we didn't talk about.
I'm so excited for season 5.
Season 5 is maybe my favorite season. I go between that and season 2.
Season 5 is pretty great.
Season 2 is my favorite right now, only because I love Angel as like a villain too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you done? I'm sorry.
I'm done. Goodbye, Iowa. B tier for me.
Can you go next, Hunter?
Yeah, sure. As I said, I don't remember a lot from this episode. I do remember there's a scene with Adam and a little boy that fucking terrified the fuck out of me.
God, yes.
Because like the boy's not really scared, he's just kind of intrigued, and then you realize no, he fucking killed that kid.
Yeah.
Like he murdered this boy in the middle of the street in broad daylight.
And like they just kind of imply it, right?
No, they say on the news that a little boy has been found murdered.
But I mean, like they imply it at first, and then they reveal it later, and you go,
Yeah.
"Holy shit!" Okay.
Yeah, that was actually Adam. By the way, I love Adam's like design. Like he's
Really
just kind of
cool.
like different aspects of like demon and robot and human all mixed into one.
Did you remember seeing Adam as like a real man in Restless?
No.
That's in Restless, right?
It must. I probably.
I think it is. It's like a conversation between Riley and Adam, I think, in Restless, and he's just like the actor that plays Adam. If not, if that's later, then it's a spoiler. But
No, it's fine.
Small spoiler.
Yeah.
I thought that was in Restless, but I couldn't.
It couldn't have been in.
I just don't really remember.
It couldn't have been in Restless because Riley leaves the house and it's just the main four.
Well, it's just it's like I think it's a part of a dream sequence. Is like what I'm talking about.
Oh.
So that's why I thought it was in Restless. It has to be in the end of season 4, or season 5. So I might be wrong, but I think I'm right.
Oh yeah, where they're sitting at the table. Yes, that's in Restless.
And I think it like show it like from a low angle.
Yes, that's in Restless. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
Hunter was mentioning Adam's design is really cool, and I
can't remember whose dream it is, but that's definitely in there.
And it's like he's kind of like a cyborg demon monster human.
Yeah, it's all mixed into one. Yeah. He looks really cool, and I like the fact that he's a villain that doesn't have to scream or shout and tell you his big plan. He just talks real slow, methodical. Yeah. He wants you to understand exactly what he's going to do to you before he does it to you. That's terrifying to me.
Yeah. He's great.
So yeah, I don't remember a lot about this episode. Goodbye, Iowa. I remember bits and pieces of it. Again, it's been a while since I watched it because I kind of watch it in spurs. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'd probably go high B tier as well.
Yeah, I'd be fine with B tier for this one. I don't remember much except for what you guys have said about this episode. But I can add that I do also like Adam. I think he does look really cool. I agree with Hunter there. And then there's and he's like really creepy because this is the one that you find out that he just kind of wants to learn about what he is. He's kind of like a Frankenstein. Like he just wants to know what he is. He doesn't really have like a moral system. He'll kill a kid. He does, and
he
it's
does.
scary,
yes,
because that like he doesn't. I mean, he's just like a psychopath. He just doesn't really have, But I mean, he was created, I guess, to be that way, like a kind of a killing machine, like a warrior soldier type thing, like the ultimate, like in initiative technology. So. But I mean, yeah, it's not a bad episode, but yeah, it's not very memorable. I think it just serves to, further the initiative storyline. And yeah, so B tier is fine with me.
All right, it's on to me. I'm going to go with another A tier. I'm going to go with episode 20, The Yoko Factor.
Nice.
I think it's an A episode. One, because we get Angel back, and it's always good to see that dude. And I love the rivalry that he has with Riley, because this is coming off of Buffy telling Riley about Angel and all that. So he's kind of on high alert again. He's kind of wary of Angel, and when he comes back, then that's when you get all the connections. I do love the scene in the dorm room where she pushes both of them on the bed, and she's like, "Stop fucking fighting, guys! Like,
I
enough."
don't think she says fucking, but yeah.
No, you know what I mean. May have added a word or two in that sentence. And again, I love the scenes with Buffy and Angel just talking to each other, because you see that they still like love each other, but it's not like a love that they can, I guess, go for because of the situation surrounding it. So you get like these little in jokes or whatever, like when Angel says, "I've come here to protect you," and he goes, and they both start laughing. He's like, "Yeah, that sounded way better in my head, didn't it?" Yep, yep. And they're kind of like bouncing ideas off each other and just kind of like riffing off each other, but they're not afraid to like kind of joke around with each other too. It's kind of a good like balance of a friendship and a partnership. This is also the episode where Adam and Spike join forces for the first time, because Adam tells Spike that if he helps him, he will get the brain or the chip out of his brain so he can start eating people. That's all Spike's mission in this whole season. He just wants to eat people again. That's it. And I love it. So I'd go probably low A tier for this one. I think it's a really good episode.
You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, this is an A tier episode for me. And actually, the parts I enjoy most about this episode are towards the end, I think, where the whole gang is fighting and they're spilling all of their secrets. Giles is like completely drunk, which is really, really funny.
He's so wasted.
Yeah, and then they find out that Willow is gay, and then they also find out that I think this is where it's revealed that Willow was going to give Angel back his soul way back at the end of season 2.
Whoa.
And instead Xander told Buffy, "Oh, Willow said like I can't remember, like knock him dead or kill him or kick his ass." Yeah. That's
kick
it.
His ass. Yeah.
So we're getting it. It's just great to me that like
they're all coming out.
Something you thought was never going to be resolved from season 2, like, oh, will Buffy ever find out that's not actually what Willow said, and that Willow actually was about to give Angel his soul back, and like Xander lied about all of that. Like that actually, you get that later, like 2 seasons later.
I love the fact that it like stuff from the earlier seasons always come back.
Yeah,
like even small little details.
Most things.
Yeah,
we never found out what happened to those eggs in that teacher's closet.
That was a little bit of it. That was an X-Files ending. Like, X-Files has all of those episodes end where it's like, oh, but this, and then never comes back.
I forgot about that scene. It's been such a long time since I've
really
watched
good
the episode. But it sounds like a great scene that I remember. This isn't the episode where Willow tells Buffy that she's gay, right?
No, that's New Moon Rising.
Okay, because I also really like that part, because doesn't she's surprised, but then she's so accepting, right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, okay. And in that one, like Willow didn't have to say that she's gay. Like Buffy just understands what she's talking about, and she's like, oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty great. I always liked stuff like this, like the Riley, Angel, Buffy, like kind of triangle here. Like it's not Angel necessarily being like jealous romantically, but it's like him being protective of her, but like not in a overprotective, controlling kind of way, but kind of, but not. And it's like, you kind of get where he's coming from, but then you see like Riley, this guy's like a threat, I guess, and just to see them sparring and stuff, and then you're just like, if Angel like really wanted to hurt Riley, like Riley doesn't stand a chance.
Not at all.
But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff with that. It's kind of cool to see the whole Adam Spike thing, because which one is? This might be season 5. Hold on, let me ask Kerri. So never mind. I'm not going to talk about what yeah. So yeah, it's cool that Spike tries to make a deal with Adam to get the chip out of his head because
He just wants to eat people, man.
It's a common thing with him, but it's one of my favorite things because it's such a really cool device to kind of like change Spike so that you can have him, still be in the show, but like it makes sense that he's not trying to kill everyone all the time around him, and you can actually have him like fight alongside them and stuff like that. So
I don't remember what episode it was. It might have been later on in the season. But I find it funny that he couldn't even point a toy gun at somebody and a human without him just like having headaches and shit. Even a toy gun is like too much for.
And Harmony is like the beginning of the season is like he can't even pick a flower. She's like, yes I can, I can, I can too.
I will say,
I'd say he's here for this. Sorry.
Xander has a funny line when Willow like spills the bean that she's dating. Wait, Tara's your girlfriend?
Yeah.
He's just he's so like in the moment. He's so angry, and then it hits him. He realizes he goes, "Wait, Tara's your girlfriend?" they all like storm off with each other.
Okay, now I remember that. That's really funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah, Xander is one of the funniest characters in the show, and I love it.
I love Xander. All right, we move back over to Chad.
Oh, I also again wasn't ready for this, but yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll go with I'll do Prime. You okay? Mm-hmm. I'll do Primeval, because this is the one that I really like. I like the whole thing because Buffy is amazing. Buffy is a superhero. She hasn't even yet begun to understand who she is, but Buffy is complete with her friends. It's one of her biggest like strengths. It's kind of like Harry Potter and other things and things like that. Like, where the hero is, great alone, but even better with their friends. And this one really shows that because Buffy can't defeat Adam on her own. So you get to see her defeat Adam with this really cool spell that like they all kind of merge, and then Buffy becomes this like entity kind of thing that like defeats Adam, and it's so cool. And I love like all the banter when they're like rappelling down the elevator shaft.
That's such a good scene.
Yeah. Just like a lot of really cool stuff. Yeah, and you find out like what Adam's like plan is. It says army of hybrid cyborg monsters. Yeah. So I forgot about that part. That's kind of a thing. But yeah, no, I really like that ending. I think it's a really cool way. It's always cool to see who the big bad is, and then what the ultimate plan to defeat that big bad is. And sometimes it's brilliant. And I really like how they did this one here because it just shows like really cool shit that you can do with magic. And I love how they show just how important the relationships are in the show. So A tier. I like Primeval a lot.
Yeah, I'll say A tier as well. I think this is a good final battle between the gang and Adam. I like that everyone, after having that gigantic fight, everyone kind of makes up. And we get the sense that, this whole fourth season, there's a lot of things kind of tearing the gang apart. That's a big theme in this season. I think in this episode, we get the sense that they're going to be closer from now on.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, and that they're gonna, be more truthful with each other. I think that's the main point. One of the main points of the Yoko factor is they've had all of these secrets that they've been hiding from each other.
I guess betrayal because Yoko. Yeah.
And I like
broke up the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the idea that it takes all of them, and especially in the season where they've been so divided. That it takes all of them to defeat Adam. I think the effect is cool with like, I don't know, like Buffy, how she like just looks different and is like kind of glowing. and I like
She like uses her like hand as
and I
symbol.
like how she just fucking plunges in and grabs.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool. So overall, yeah, I would agree with I.
Yeah, definitely A tier for me. There were, I think the rappel down scene, like down the
Yeah.
elevator with Willow and Buffy, is so sweet
Yes.
and heartbreaking at the same time, because you're like, we all have had those friendships in like high school or middle school that when you get to college and adult life, you like grow apart. You know what I mean? And it's like it's a real thing, and just having that moment of Buffy telling Willow, "I love you and I accept you the way you are, no matter what," and then immediately followed by a great joke when Xander rappels down and they're both hugging on Xander. He looks for Giles. Giles, get down here. You don't want to miss this.
I love that
So
part.
great.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that's also the episode where like Xander feels more accepted by the team, I feel like. Because like the whole season, it feels like Xander's biggest fear is that like he's not going to be good enough for the team and they're going to forget about him. But then this is the episode where he realizes, oh no, like I may not have powers or magic, but like I bring something to the team, and they accept that. You know, I can bring something to the Force.
Yeah, and that's
I
a
love.
common theme with Xander that will keep happening, where he's like, I'm the only one that doesn't have like something special, but then he finds out like what is special about him. And you know, the whole season with Xander is like, you know, the very beginning, like he didn't go to college with everybody. He was like, I'm gonna travel to I'm gonna drive to all 50 states.
He made it to
like,
one. His car broke down. He was like, "Nope, I'm going back."
Like, are you gonna like talk to him about like Hawaii and stuff like that? And then and so it's just really cool to you see them all come back together at the end. I agree. I love that.
Yeah, definitely A tier for me. All right, who are we on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that is
This year's girl.
This year's girl. Yeah, that's the part one. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Whose turn are we on?
I don't know, but I think someone who remembers the episode, so maybe Hunter should start.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, if you remember the episode more.
Yeah, I remember bits and pieces. Again, I watch these like 2 or 3 episodes at a time. I don't really watch them like side by side each episode. But I do remember loving this episode only because this is the return of Faith. Yeah. I think Faith is a really great character from last season. I remember the great. Oh, give me 1 second. Go ahead and talk about this. I have a phone call. Sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of the return of Faith. I think at the end is when she switches.
Yes.
But this whole time is her kind of like figuring. I mean, I already explained a lot of this, but it's like her kind of figuring out what this new, like, you know, like she's lost a lot of time and she's still in that mindset of gotta get Buffy kind of a deal, because revenge on Buffy, especially after she finds out about the mayor. And it's really interesting that like the switching of the bodies is the path that this goes down, instead of her just trying to kill Buffy or anything. And so that's really cool how it ends up like that. I remember it just being like a whole thing about like people finding out that Faith was back and stuff like that. But that's really all I kind of remember about this one specifically.
Yeah, I mean, I would still put this in A tier because I think we get a lot of
I like the episode too. I would say A tier.
We get a lot of Faith just coming, like you said, coming back, trying to figure out who she is. We get a lot of the gang's reaction to Faith coming back. You know, and obviously like with Willow feels like very, I think, vulnerable because she felt like Faith, when her and Buffy were getting along, like Faith kind of like infringed on their relationship. And we get Joyce in this. I think the strongest part of this is when we get Faith and Joyce, and Faith kind of takes Joyce captive. and we're a little worried, not really because it's Buffy, but we're a little worried like, oh, is Buffy going to come back and protect her mom? Because apparently she didn't even tell her mom Faith was back.
Right.
And Buffy does, and then Faith does the switch. So I would still say A tier because I think we get some great Faith moments in this.
I mean, I think you still have stakes because you don't think Buffy's gonna die, but you think Joyce could.
Yeah.
So
I think Who Are You, the second part of this, is a lot better because it just shows Faith's character a lot more, and it shows how Faith maybe like she does the switch because maybe she wants to take over for Buffy. She kind of wants to have that second chance and be able to be that perfect Slayer. Although this one I think is a good setup to that. So I would still say A tier.
Yeah.
It's a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'd say A tier as well. And just the thing about it is because it is 2 episodes, but it feels just like one big episode that I'm just like, give the whole episode A tier. And it's just a part 1, part 2 kind of a deal, which you get a lot in Buffy. But I think that like every time you get those, it's very rare that like one of the episodes is terrible and the other is great. One, 2. And so this one is no exception or no different really. And yeah, we all love Faith because she's such an interesting baddie character. She's not like a big bad, but she's an interesting antagonist that comes in. Because you saw her go from, kind of good character, and then she's like kind of like the wild card Slayer, where you don't know what she's gonna do. She's kind of unhinged, and then she kills a human, and causes kind of like a whole rift between them, and then we get to see like that kind of play out through this again. So we both gave the episode A tier.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Talked about it a bunch.
Yeah, I agree with A tier for this year's girl. I love the fight with Buffy and Faith at the college. I think that's a really cool scene for a fight, like a fight scene. I love the fact that like she doesn't remember what happened, but she does remember like the mission, which was to go to the school, and she has to be told that like the mayor died and things like that. What else? I do like the fact that like the character of Faith is it's not just one-dimensional. There's so many layers and elements to her character. Again, the theme of you can't judge a book by its cover. Like, everything's not so black and white. I like that kind of dynamic. And then the ending in the house, I believe, right? Like, they have a fight in the house. Yeah. And that's where they switch. Perfect, kind of use of Joyce in a way where, like, Buffy has to protect Joyce, but she can also fight alongside her, and it's just like, it's like a really cool set piece for the end of the episode. So yeah, definitely A tier for me.
Hell yeah. Oh. So now we rank everything, right?
Yes.
22 episodes of season 4.
It's too difficult.
It's too hard. Let's skip it. It's like...
All right. All right. 22-1.
Well, what are the C tiers are... Where the Wild Things Are and Beer Bad?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say Where the Wild Things Are, I think is the worst episode, but I'd also be fine with Beer Bad.
I would put Where the Wild Things Are 22 and the Beer Bad 21.
Okay.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Is someone writing this?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I don't know. I'd probably put Beer Bad at 22, and then Where the Wild Things Are at 21. I'd
be fine with that as well.
I like Beer Bad, but it's okay. I'm fine. I'm fine with it. I know a lot of people.
I really could go either way. I don't think either of them are particularly good episodes. So
it's hard because I like pretty much every episode. It's hard for me to be like C tier.
I'm trying to remember what else we put in.
Well, I was gonna go with I remember Hunter really liked Doomed, but we didn't really like that one all
so
that
we'll
much.
save that for a little bit higher up then.
But I was thinking about like around here, like Doomed. We were talking about Goodbye Iowa that we don't remember a lot about, so it's not that memorable.
The Iron Team, I would put somewhere down there.
I like that one, but yeah, I mean,
I'd be fine with any of those or like some combination of those three.
Mm-hmm.
The Initiative,
Wait,
maybe
those
we
three?
put in
Oh yeah,
B tier as well. I don't think we put a lot in B tier though.
I don't think we did either. I think it was the first half was actually a pretty decent like first half where there was only really one glaring like misstep episode.
Pangs is another one.
Oh right, yeah.
So the Initiative, Pangs, Doomed, the Iron Team, and Goodbye Iowa are the ones that we were thinking about next. We could put Doomed at like the highest of those potentially, since Hunter really likes that one.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
But I also would like the Iron Team to be kind of like second highest under Doomed.
Okay.
Because I like that one.
So would we want to do maybe like Goodbye Iowa and then, or the Initiative and like Goodbye Iowa, the Initiative, and then Pangs? And then the Iron Team and then Doomed?
Yes. I'm fine with that. Did you hear that, Hunter?
So what is it now? Sorry, I got confused.
So we're at Beer Bad, Where the Wild Things Are, Goodbye Iowa.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
What's the next one?
The Initiative.
The Initiative. Wait. Pangs.
Okay.
Goodbye Iowa, then Pangs, then the Initiative.
Okay.
Then the Iron Team.
And then Doomed.
And then Doomed, yeah.
This isn't usually how we do. We usually like kind of vote on this, but we've been.
It's just hard with this many episodes, like.
And it's quicker to. Just
it is.
But do you disagree with any of that, Hunter?
Actually, no.
Dominate this if you have.
No. Yeah, that's a fine ranking. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So now what?
And then Doomed is 16, correct?
Yeah. What? So we're at 22, 21, 20, 19, 18,
Beer Bad, Where the Wild Things Are, Goodbye Iowa, Pangs, the Initiative, the Iron Team, and then Doomed.
Yep. So we've done 7. Okay. So we have 15 left.
I would maybe put then either the Freshman or Living Conditions.
Okay. I like Living Conditions more than the Freshman, I think.
Okay.
No, you know what? I'd be okay with reversing that. Because
it doesn't matter.
Well, I see the Freshman was directed by Joss, so I'm like, those normally kind of go higher, I feel like, because it's his show. Okay, so the Initiative and Living Conditions are both 2 that you would put next?
Yeah, and then maybe the Sears Girl.
Okay, because it's like a setup episode.
Yeah.
I would probably put This Year's Girl under the first 2, to be honest.
Okay,
I like
fine
those.
with that.
So, but wasn't This Year's Girl? Were all those A tier?
Yeah, I think we're exclusively in A and S
now.
tier.
Okay.
Random cat appears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what now? I'm sorry.
So we were just talking about 3 episodes. This Year's Girl, The Freshman, and Living Conditions, and I think we were talking about maybe doing for 15 This Year's Girl, Living Conditions for 14, and then The Freshman for 13.
I would say This Year's Girl would probably be a better 13, just because like there's a lot of more memorable scenes that I can remember earlier on in the second half.
Okay, I think we were just saying because it's kind of like a setup episode for the other one.
Yeah,
but it doesn't really matter. Those 3 are kind of like all around the same kind of ilk. Like I like the first and second episode more, but I'm fine with doing it that way if that's what you guys want to do. I don't know what Kerri
I'd be
thinks.
fine with that. Yeah.
Okay. So let's do Living Conditions the freshman, and then this year's girl at 13. So 13, 14, 15. And so then we have 12 more.
Oh my god. I would say maybe like
The harsh light of day, maybe after that.
I was gonna say maybe like Primeval, but I would be fine with the harsh light of day too.
Okay, you wrote living conditions twice.
Oh.
I'd put Primeval over the harsh light of day. Oh, okay, that's the Spike Gem of Amara
Yeah.
one. I do kind of like that one, actually. But we're getting up to like 12, 11.
Yeah. I'd be
So-
fine with
So what do we do for 15, 14, 13?
So for 15, we did living conditions.
Okay.
For 14, we're doing the freshman. And for 13, we're doing this year's girl.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I'm fine with that. All right.
And then we're thinking maybe for 12, the harsh light of day.
And then Primeval for 11.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me as
Okay.
well.
All right, so now we're down to the top 10. And we got left Fear Itself, Wild at Heart. Actually, for 10, I would put Wild at Heart.
I would agree with that, yeah.
Wild at Heart for 10.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So we got Fear Itself, Something Blue, Hush, A New Man, Who Are You, Superstar, New Moon Rising, and the Yoko Factor. I'd put the Yoko Factor at number 9.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that as well.
Because the other ones that I said are all kind of great. I would put, personally, I don't mean to dominate this. You guys disagree, just bash me if it's
No.
fine. I would put Who Are You 8.
I would actually put Superstar 8 and then maybe Who Are You?
I like Superstar more, but if you...
Mm.
Hunter be our tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So
I
between
know what he's going to pick.
Superstars and Who Are You?
Yeah.
That's hard 'cause I love both episodes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just think Superstar's more unique. That's why I like it more, but...
I just like Faith. I just really like Who Are You a lot.
Gotcha. Okay,
Like
well,
the whole
yeah,
episode.
I'll give you that. That's
Yeah.
And then Who Are You?
Yeah, I'd go Superstars and Who Are You.
I just like to make my friends happy. It's fine.
What else? Maybe A New Man.
A New Man, I was about to say, would be next, in my opinion, because we're getting into stuff like Hush,
Yeah.
Which is top 2.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe what do we have left? Either Something Blue or Fear Itself.
I would put Fear Itself above Something Blue because it's so like Halloween and it's really fun.
Okay, I'd be fine with that.
So doing what for 5?
Something Blue.
Something Blue? Okay. Yeah.
And then Fear Itself at 4, which is funny because it's the 4th episode.
Yep.
What do we have left?
Hush.
Restless.
And New Moon Rising.
New Moon Rising.
I would do New Moon Rising, Restless, Hush.
I'd be fine with that. But Hunter, how do you feel?
Give me 1 second. I'm still trying to write this down.
Yeah,
Kerri's got it here too. But
All
she
right,
doesn't have
so
16 through 22.
the final 3 are what now? I'm sorry.
I was thinking for 3, New Moon Rising. For 2, Restless. And for 1, Hush. Hush is normally considered one of the greatest episodes of Buffy. And then Restless, you heard a discussion about that at the very beginning. We just think it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
But then New Moon Rising, I think, is a great 3 because that's the top 3. And we obviously all love New Moon Rising so much. So every time I watch that one, I'm like, God, this episode is so good. But I say that about all 3 of those episodes. So
Yeah.
you can't put them all in one.
There's not really a bad, like, final 3, but I really love New Moon Rising.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably put that at 2.
What would you put at 3?
Probably Restless and then 1 Hush.
What do you think, Kerri?
Well, I'm just trying to think because our S tier was Restless and
Yeah,
Hush.
because I don't want to budge on this one, to be honest. Personally, I just love Restless some. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is like we're all saying that these 3 are just so great,
Yeah.
and I think we would have all said that if we had two S's, New Moon Rising could be up there.
Oh, definitely.
But I would still always put Restless just slightly over New.
I'm just like I'm still on like New Moon Rising, only because like it feels like it ties into the story, the overall story arc, but it also gives us more character development for Willow and Tara, and it gives us the last episode of Oz, which is really, at least I think it's the last episode of Oz. You guys said that Seth Green didn't want to return, so I'm kind of assuming that. And what a way to go out! I think there's a great way to give a fan favorite character a great send off. So
all I'm saying, you're making a great case, Hunter. I'm just saying that I would feel wrong saying that Restless is number 3.
Well, I just think because we have our 2 S, like I feel like our 2 S tier should be number
the top
1
2.
and 2.
Yeah.
Would you be okay with having New Moon Rising at 3? Would it hurt you?
Yeah. It wouldn't hurt me.
3.
Yeah.
It would hurt you.
Yeah. All right, so let's do that. Let's do New Moon Rising. 3, right?
Yes.
Sorry
to hurt you, Hunter.
My heart. No. And then Restless, and then Hush, correct?
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do the entire series ranking.
No,
that would be way too many episodes.
Let's do it.
It's hard enough to do it like the whole season.
That would be kind of amazing to try. But I feel like we would have to legitimately just watch all the episodes again to really do that.
That sounds so difficult. Like, that's too difficult.
But Hunter has all of the like CBAS info, right? So
well, I don't know if it's. I think it's in these videos, but it's not like saved somewhere.
I could go in and like extract it, and
that would make it easier, but it would still be really difficult.
Especially with like so many great episodes. We would have so many fights.
And we I can't remember.
Wait for that, though.
I can't remember if
great.
we actually lost some of the Buffy episodes.
No, we didn't. No,
we have all of them.
He did live recordings and stuff like that, so they're in different places, but you can find.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so we have our 22 ranking episodes. So number 22, Beer Bad. Number 21, Where the Wild Things Are. 20, Goodbye Iowa. 19, Pangs. 18, The Initiative. 17, The I and Team. 16, Doomed. 15, Living Conditions. 14, The Freshman. 13, This Year's Girl. 12, The Harsh Light of Day. 11, Prime Evil. 10, Wild at Heart. 9, The Yoko Factor. 8, Superstar. 7, Who Are You? 6, A New Man. 5, Something Blue. 4, Fear Itself. 3, New Moon Rising. 2, Restless. And number 1, Hush. What a hell of a ranking.
Yeah.
Yes, what a hell of a ranking, guys. I cannot wait to get started with Season 5. I'm also starting Episode 1 of Season 1 of Angel, and that... Oh. So, yeah, I started Episode 1 of Season 1 of Angel as well, so I am very excited to get into that, see how it ties into every other season of Buffy, if it does at all, but... You know, I just love that character, so it's no chore for me. Guys, you have made me an official fan. Look what you did to me.
Oh my God, Hunter, that makes us so happy. It's such a special show to us. We love finding people that we know that have seen it or just starting to watch it, and we can like either talk about Buffy with people who've seen it, or love to see people discovering it and becoming fans. And I can see that you're like a true fan and you just really like love all these characters and stuff. It just makes me so excited. And I'm so excited for you to get a season 5, and so excited for you to start Angel and get through that first season of that, because Angel's kind of an underrated show, I think, a lot of the time, and it has its ups and downs. We don't remember everything from Angel. We haven't watched it as much as Buffy, but I love Angel so much. It's such a great show. I'd put it almost up there with Buffy.
I would say Buffy is overall definitely the better show.
Yes.
Angel has most of the seasons are really great. I think it has a couple of very weak points.
Mm-hmm. And
I will say, so far, I like the idea of showing that Buffy universe, but in like kind of more adult-centric themes,
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
say.
There's some really, really amazing, incredible parts of Angel. The
Yeah.
characters are a big part of that. The setting is a big part of that. If you get there, which I'm sure you will at some point, we can talk about where it goes.
And also, yeah, no, I would love to do Angel ranking at some point. I will say for stipulation, I was talking to Hunter about this before, that Kerri and I would have to rewatch this one.
Angel, like I could do maybe like season 1 without a rewatch. Maybe the rest of them I would have to rewatch.
So,
like,
but we would be more than happy to.
Yeah,
because we love
it's
that
a
show
great
as well.
show. Yeah,
It's a Buffyverse show, so we love it. You know, and like you were asking, like there are themes that merge. There's stuff that merges from Buffy, and there's characters that you'll see again.
Yeah,
which
I'll
is
say
really
actually
great.
don't do season 2 of Angel unless you want season 5 of Buffy spoiled for you.
Oh, okay.
And not vice versa.
Yeah,
but
I would favor Buffy. And then you know.
But if you wanted to alternate, I would always go Buffy first and then.
But
Angel.
that's actually what he's doing. So he did season 4. He's starting season 1 of Angel. Do season 5 of Buffy, then season 2.
2 of Angel.
That's how the timelines match up.
It alternates out.
Yes.
Well, they alternated out by episode because they were airing at the same time.
Yeah.
I mean, there are like you can look it up online, and there are lists of how to watch it if you want to watch it like, in that order. Although I think it's a little difficult because there are very few episodes that tie into each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would do it how you're doing it.
Yeah.
Or watch all of Buffy and then Angel.
Yeah.
I would do one of those two.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We're definitely gonna try to do an Angel ranking probably sometime next year, so I can finish up Angel and Buffy and all that. Now, I don't know, because next week is Christmas, so Merry Christmas, everybody. We will not be doing a live episode. I believe we're going to try to pre-record next week's episode earlier on in the week. Should we go ahead and announce what that episode is going to be?
Yeah.
So, we are doing the best horror movies of 2022 list.
Oh, I thought we were doing Christmas horror.
We could do either.
Are we saving that? Are we... Wait, because this is the Christmas Day release.
Yeah, Christmas Day release.
So you want to do the best of, or you do want to do Christmas horror? I could say, could we do? Because I want to just binge Christmas movies, to be honest, now until then. And I haven't seen like Pearl, and I really want to watch that to maybe see if it fits into my top 10.
Yeah, and that gives you. I know there's a few you wanted to see, Hunter, too.
So so should we do Christmas movies?
Christmas horror.
Christmas horror.
And then maybe the next week we can do
beginning of the year, do the best of.
And that'll also probably
would be the
maybe pre-recorded because that's New Year's Day. I guess it'll depend on what we all have going on.
It'll be New Year's Day, so we'd probably pre-record that.
Yeah. So 2 episodes will be pre-recorded, and then we'll be back to our originally scheduled programming. So we're doing... There we go. Christmas horror this upcoming Sunday for Christmas Day, and then the next week we are going to pre-record an episode for the best of 2022 horror movies.
Yep. Cool.
So excited. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it, guys. All right, Chad and Kerri, where can people find you online?
Just the normal places.
Yeah.
Cat pictures on Instagram. Dill Pickle Movie Network picture this. Check out my channel, Chadwick Webb. I haven't released it yet, but we did just record our Disney animated 61 movies. Holy crap! It took like 5.5 hours. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to trim that much off because there was a lot of great discussion. So I'm probably just going to release it 5.5 hours. And if you love Disney and you want to hear discussion, watch it. I don't know. But yeah, maybe check that out. Like and subscribe. Check out our other episodes. We did a lot of great stuff. And we also did Star Wars that I still have to release and stuff like that. But yeah, fun stuff. That's it.
All right, guys. So that's where we're going to end it. Remember to like and subscribe below. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys soon. Happy holidays, everybody. Peace. Peace.